What's going on, everybody? Welcome to an episode of the Sean Tiberio Show. It's been a while. I'm not going to lie. It has been a minute since I put together an episode. And for those that in the past were pretty avid followers of the Sean Tiberio Show, it's gone through a number of different transitions, evolutions. This started way back, I don't know, early 2019, just a Coffee with Sean weekly series. And it evolved into something more. It's taken some different legs at times. It's had different pieces. And then it took a little bit of a backseat. And those that in the past were pretty consistent followers, pretty consistent watchers, whether that would have been the weekly uploads to YouTube or listening to on a podcast player out there, you probably wondered what happened. Why did it die out? Why did it end? Why hadn't I put out a episode for quite some time? And I could sit here and I could make excuses. I could kind of blow smoke in a sense. I could give you all these reasons, right, to justify why. Or I could just simply say the truth. And the truth is, the Sean Tiberio Show took a back seat. It took a back seat in respect to priority throughout the course of the week. It took a back seat in the respect of importance to both myself and what was being put out there. It took a back seat as far as the feeling of it needed to be done. And I bring that up because today's show, we're going to talk a little bit about this analogy, this saying, this thought process that every scar I have is just part of my life map, right? Or every scar I have is really just a route on this map known as life. And this show is a great example of it. It's had its scars. It's had some really good moments where a lot of things were going really well. And it's had some very down times where it never hit the priority list. It never really became an importance. I won't lie. There was times where I wondered if anybody outside of the core set was really getting anything out of it. And it lost its, in that sense, it kind of like fell down. It scraped its knee. It busted up its elbow. It broke its arm. And I started to question, could it come back? And this actually stemmed yesterday. As many of you guys know, my business partner, Roger Valdez, and I got a lot going on with Top Results Consulting. We've launched a podcast over on that side, the Web Buzz podcast. That's been a huge priority, a huge kind of front of the list element. And TRC is taking a change in the way that the image of TRC and what TRC is about and what's that brand look like, and all that's been changing. And it initially was really built off of me, and this Sean Tiberio show was a big piece of it, a big supporter of it to really help get some of that traction going. And now TRC is kind of like a young adult, right? It can stand on its own 2 feet. It can operate as its own self. It is its own bloodline in a sense. It's got its own resources. It's got its own audience. It's got a phenomenal client base to it that it doesn't necessarily need the incubation. It doesn't need the push. It doesn't need the support of much outside of it to do it. And I was on a call with some of our clients last night on the TRC side of the thing. And one of our clients actually brought it up that there's times where they research or they think about and they plan and they kind of build out the the process of something. They want to do a training. They want to go live on a live video, whatever they want to record. They want to go on another show, whatever it is, right? They do all this work, and then they just, screw it. I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to go do this instead because they're just not quite ready. And a lot of that stems from just lack of clarity or too many scars, right? The map has gotten confusing and we shut down. When that happens, when we start to feel like I've got too many scars on my body, I can't walk around naked in my own house, in my own flesh. Got too many scars. I can't wear that kind of outfit. I got too many scars. I can't wear something like that. I got scars in this area. I don't want people to see that, right? In this case, in the business space, I'm not quite ready. I don't know if I'm knowledgeable. I don't know if I've had these things in place. And we start to second guess ourselves. And I'm here today to tell you guys I've done the same thing. You see, I'm not perfect, and I'm okay with that. I don't always make the right choice. I'm okay with that. Every scar that I have, and trust me, I have a lot, and scars aren't always physical, right? It's not always the physical scars on our bodies or the physical blemishes, the physical scars against our business. Sometimes it's the emotional ones. It's the mental ones. It's in the business, it's the one that we left on a supporter, a helper, an employee, a friend, a family member of our business. Sometimes those scars are the ones that actually crush us the most. But they also, if we allow ourselves to think that direction, they could become the greatest GPS to our success. And I've got a number of them. Over the years, way back before business, entrepreneurship, self-employment, life on my own. Back before all of that stuff, it started with my time in the Marine Corps. And although I had a phenomenal 10-year career, had some phenomenal times, made a lot of great relationships, built a lot of friendships, did some incredible things, saw some amazing places, participated in some just crazy moments. They didn't come free. They didn't come free from defeat, breakdown, beat ups, pain, some scars that I walk around with daily, friendships destroyed, bad actions taken, physical pain, mistakes, complacency. And these are all subtle reminders of the journey that we've gone through. And when I allow those moments to sink in, it's almost like turning that GPS device on and getting a chance to see not just the direction, but imagine that GPS device recording its history, where you've gone. This actually hit me a little bit last night. I'm planning and prepping for an event, a thing that's coming up in March, the Unleash Your Inner Lion event. And I dove deep into a app on my phone that we use a lot when we're out in the backcountry and just out in the environment. It's an app that can guide us, give us some coordinates, lets us see lay of the land a little bit, but more importantly, it can also record. It can record the tracks, the actual physical track that we took. And I was sitting there looking back through it and thinking, our life is like this, right? The scars on our body, the scars on our minds, the physical and emotional pain that we've gone through, overcome, not always easily, but gotten through it, is kind of like that device. It's kind of like that app recording the moments of your life that you've gone through to get to where you're at. And as I was looking through that GPS platform and just kind of reminiscing too. I was looking for certain points, but I was also reminiscing on the last few times that we were in this area and reminiscing on some of the amazing moments in there, some of the things that were phenomenal to see. And it started to remind me that there's other areas, right? There's other scars throughout life that bring a lot of positive, yet sometimes difficult, because positive doesn't always need to be easy. It can be a positive memory. It could be something that we cherish, that we love, but it's painful. And as I sit here right now talking about it, I can't help but think of a very recent scar that's been placed on me with the death of my grandfather, a man that truly described or defined, I should say, the word family. An Italian man, parents descended here from Italy, born, raised, brought up through some of the toughest years, worked in some of the most difficult environments. As a young individual joining the army, going away to the Korean War, coming back home, going to work into the railroads, right? Hard, blue collar, rough, in an area of the country that at the time was not the most easy place to live in. But through all of that, all of the scars that my grandfather went through, the cut downs, the beat downs, the breaks, the setbacks, the achievements, through all of that, it led him to defining and mapping out to our family what it truly meant to be a family. And the loss of him adds this scar now to each and every one of us that are left remaining. It's not easy. But if we allow that scar to crush us, to hurt us, to freeze us in our tracks, well, we've let the scar win. We've let that moment achieve success over us versus us achieve success over it. It makes me think of some of the missions back in the early Iraq and Afghanistan conflicts when we were deployed overseas. There's many nights we went out. We had no idea what the hell we were even going out for. We had no idea what our purpose was. There was times where we literally, I can remember looking at the squad of guys and questioning, why are we even out here? Why are you even doing what we're doing tonight? Why are we even out searching for X or searching for Y? Or what is the purpose of all of this? And it created these small micro cracks or these small micro fractions, right? These little scars into our egos, into our emotional state, into our self-worth. Are we just out here because they want to keep us busy? Are we just out here because whatever? They just wanted to put us out here to give us something to do. But as we look at our life, as we look at our businesses even go through these scarring moments, setbacks, destruction, achievements, right? This flow. 2020 was a great eye opener to that. Many businesses survived, many did not. Many fought through the challenge, right, of COVID and some of the restrictions and the uniqueness that that now brought into what they needed to do internally to achieve. Others, not so much. They didn't figure out a way. The ones that didn't, they've got a little bit more clear of a roadmap on what not to do, what routes not to take next time. Those scars, those crushing elements, those periods of failure, they've mapped out now something for them to take into the future of what to avoid, what to stay away from. And as I looked at the Sean Tiberio show, after kind of pondering on all of this stuff the last few weeks, as I kind of went through that time with losing my grandfather and spending time with family and just kind of really reflecting back on it and being on that meeting last night and just hearing it come from somebody else of, sometimes I just need to hit the button and go and just let whatever fly. I started to think to myself, the Sean Tiberio show needs that. I needed that. I needed that time, the scars to heal, right? Because to create a scar, it takes something severe, right? If I was gonna create my own scar right now, if I wanted to cause a scar to form on my forearm, I'm gonna need to take a knife. Right? I'm gonna need to take the knife, make sure it's the sharpest knife that I can get, and I'm gonna need to cut myself. I need to cut it deep enough though that when it does heal, it leaves a mark. And if I cut it really deep, that scar is going to be really bold. If I don't cut it super deep, that scar may not stay forever, right? It may disappear after a while. So depending on how big of a pain I put myself through would determine how big that scar ends up being. And the same's true with us. However much pain we allow ourselves to suffer and go through will determine how big that scar is on us. And the bigger ones are either a reminder of why not to do it that way, or they become a reminder of what it takes, right? What it took to get to this point. Financial setbacks, the bigger they are, the harder they hurt. But sometimes they're the biggest reminder of what we went through to achieve what we've achieved. So I leave you with this today. What scars are you avoiding? What scars do you, your business, your life, what do you have that you're trying to hide, that you're trying to disguise, that you're trying to not let anybody see, that really are the true point to point approach of creating who you are, where you've come, what you've been able to achieve and accomplish, and what are those scars that you need to embrace and realize that they're just the story. They're just the step by step process. And no story is a good story without a setback, without turmoil, without a surprise. And I'm going to leave you with this quote. It's a quote that I've come to really live myself around. When I hear people say, I wish someday, or oh man, that would be so great to do that, or God, I can only imagine what it would be like to do, or you're so lucky that you get to do those things, or you're so lucky that you have what you have. I always go back to this saying right here. And it's the saying of, it's not that I can and others can't. It's that I have and others haven't. You see, it's not that I can do it and you can't do it. It's just that I've gone out and done it. It might have caused a scar. I might have hurt myself a little bit. I might have had a setback, a fight, a battle to get there. But the mere difference is I've got the scars to show that I've gone and done it. You can, you just haven't. So it's not that I'm more capable or that I can do things that you can't. It's simply I've done it. I have and you haven't. And when you're ready to come to the have, when you're ready to come to the you will do, when you're ready to say, I have now done that, that's when you'll achieve it. That's when you'll get there. With that said, I look forward to bringing you guys more episodes on a more regular basis here at the Sean Tiberio Show. Sean Tiberio Show is definitely going to take a transition. Now that TRC is its own adult, it's on its 2 feet, it's ready to rock and roll, and it is rock and rolling. You guys want marketing help, you want tuned into online presence and websites and what you need to be doing from anything digital marketing wise, the Web Buzz podcast. Go check it out every single Wednesday, 4 p.m. Pacific, over on the Sean Tiberio page, the Top Results Consulting page on YouTube, a number of different places, or just go to topresultsconsulting.com/podcast, I believe it is, or just go to the Top Results page, scroll down a little bit, you'll see the podcast section. You guys can check in and tune in there. You can catch it anywhere. Web Buzz Podcast, check it out anywhere on the podcast players. But if you're ready for more just real life, down to earth, the real talk of all things physical, mental, emotional, business, life, Sean Tiberio Show is gonna take a little bit of an evolve here as we're gonna kick off what I'm gonna call season number 3. Season 3 of the Sean Tiberio Show will be a little different, and it's finally finding its legs and what it's gonna be here for. So I look forward to seeing you guys again on an upcoming episode. And as always, we wish you the best. And here's to your success.